G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome back of course to the Time Bomb channel, and I hope that all is good in your part of the world. Watch review of the Christopher Ward C63 Sealander in Glasswing Pink. First question that I asked myself when this one popped out of the box was, is this the Christopher Ward Oyster Perpetual? We're reviewing a pink watch today, as I asked my daughter what color watch shall I review next, and yeah, I probably should have seen that one coming. Next time I will phrase the question slightly differently. But anyway, massive thanks to Christopher Ward for the loan of this one and for their continued support of my little channel. Really do appreciate that. And I'm also actually pretty impressed with this one because it has recently, it was today anyway, stretched my color palette tolerances for dials, and it's also been a while since I've had a 36mm dressier watch in for review. Let me just pause there and zoom in a fraction. So as you can see, up a little bit closer, that pink is not really a pink. Probably reflective of the glasswing butterfly, which I'm assuming the nomenclature or the naming convention has been taken from. It's more of a sort of a rose champagne, perhaps. I don't know if that's even a color, but there you go. Some commentators have talked about the pros and cons of the 36mm C63. There's too many threes and sixes in that. And yes, I think it's worth some consideration because, you know, it is. I'll talk about that a little later. But to me, the key measurement is not that 36mm across. It's actually the north to south, because this is a shimmy under 43mm, and that I think is the key factor, because when you pop it on wrist, which I will show you now, you can really see that it's not shortness, shorter north to south. My wrist is 7 1/4 for reference. And I think what I'm referring to is that you do get a lot more bracelet over the shoulders of your wrist, the edges of your wrist, than you would do ordinarily. And I think, yeah, I mean, the size-wise, the 36mm for me is not petite at all. I think it wears very well, very comfortably. Zero top wobble, but as I say, what you do find is you see a lot more bracelet around here than you probably ordinarily will do. Deep, or the depth of these, it's super manageable. It's I think 10.75 mils. It does come with a porthole into the back, which it probably doesn't need, but it's not a really low hanging exhibition case back, so you don't get too much impact on the fit on wrist. It still sits very flush indeed. They come with, and it sits then on 20mm lugs as well, so you're going to have lots of strap option changes on here too. It comes with 150 meters worth of watery goodness, as you can see off the dial, and I like that because I think what it does is it just allows the watch to be a little bit more usable in wider scenarios than your standard 50mm. Also notice the date window down there. Let me zoom in a fraction. The date window down there at the 6, perfectly placed. You can see that the digits are quite large and they sit well within that window. And notice as well the brilliant touch of the color match date wheel. They could have left it white, but I think the fact that they just found a soft pink, but to go behind that text, I think is absolutely fantastic. As always with the C63 Sealanders, you do get the signed crown. The one thing I noticed with this, and it's probably because it's a lone watch, you don't get a big pop out to the last position, and the movement is quite heavy. So don't be alarmed when you feel that. And obviously, in our first position there, our quick set date window, which works perfectly, and it screws. Sorry, I can't see what I'm doing through the camera. Yeah, it screws in perfectly there as well. No issues. I think that aligns very well within those mini crown guards. Yep, all good there. To me, 36mm watches can feel a little bit petite. It's the same, for example, when I'm wearing, where's it gone, just up here, my F91. I love the watch, but it does feel small. And by petite, I don't mean feminine, but there's really no reason why your better half couldn't be wearing one of these 36mm C63 Sealanders either. I fully recognise as well that the dimensions of these smaller watches do a great deal of getting out the way, specifically if you're sat at your desk typing. Then, you know, something, where's it gone over here? You know, big lumps of resin like this are just simply not fit for purpose at all. Coming back to that date window, the porthole into the back, you can see there we've got the Sellita SW200 buzzing away very, very happily indeed. And it's a movement that Christopher Ward use in a lot of their watches, and you're going to get around 38 hours of power reserve. And I certainly haven't heard many, you know, overtly negative comments about the movement in accuracy or reliability. So again, I think that's a solid one. That dial color, shape, style, and everything like that is going to match perfectly with your work shirts. And as I say, it slips very comfortably under sleeve. I think for many of us, a pink dialer might be a little bit of a stretch for many of us, for me included. I once had a buddy who had a thing for wearing something like 3 or 4 polo shirts at the same time, all with the collars stood up. And yes, he favoured pink, and that just really put me off the colour for shirts and everything else for quite a while. I sincerely hope he's gone on to bigger and better things. But I think the sun ray on this dial is really quite muted, and that pink-ish, that pink rose silver, really does become very, very pretty indeed. And if you just told me, yeah, it's a pink dialer, I probably would have said no. So I'm very glad that we've taken the punt on this one. I do think, though, thinking about the dial, that they could really just lose the automatic and the watery goodness there. I don't think it brings anything to the party at all. And just, you know, without it, it would just allow that shimmy from that dial just to shine through even more indeed. Hands, hour markers, huge long seconds hand there, I think are all pretty standard, and they work very effectively. And despite the sheen and shine and refraction that you get off this, you can still very easily tell what time it is. There is the option of these coming on the consort bracelet. I chose the Beta because I just think it looks a little bit more professional. The consort is a little bit shiny. There is one downside to that, and that is actually the size of the clasp in relation to the head. It's actually quite big. There is taper down, but it's still a little bit large. So bear that in mind. On my wrist, as I say, I don't feel it being an issue, but I'm just referencing it proportionally. It is a little bit large. I'm saying that because it's the same class that you would find on a 40mm and a 42mm from Christopher Ward. So when you shrink that down to a 36, it certainly does have a little bit of an impact. However, throw this on a leather strap and I think it's going to look equally good. I'm not sure if the black is a little bit too somber, but perhaps a different color brown would match that very, very well indeed. There is lume, and it's pretty damn decent. You're certainly going to be able to see when you're writing your emails at night, etc. I think, yeah, not many of my friends own a pink dial watch as well, but I think this one has enough dress, sports, explorer vibes to it, and I think this is certainly one that more of us might want to consider. As I say, in this new colorway, again, really quite interesting. I do wonder perhaps if Chris Ward, they seem to be releasing a huge variety of watches, loads of variations on a theme. So I'm wondering if they might release a 39 or 38.5mm version of this later on. All right, so over to you guys for your pros and cons on this one. What do you think? You like it, dislike it? Really look forward to hearing your comments and thoughts down below. Thanks again to Chris Ward for the loaner, and thanks to you guys for your time and for your view, and we'll catch you all in the next vid. Cheers now.